It's your tool zone, obviously.
Tool wall, yeah. Inspired by Chinese gardens. They divided their gardens up a lot with little walls into little micro areas. This is like a homage to Chinese gardens. It's mostly clay and straw.
And this is all your power, huh?
Yeah.
So that gives you everything you need, pretty much, power-wise.
Yeah, well, we have another set of panels out, further out. We've got two different sets of panels. This is it, and these will end up, of course, on the roof of the new building. You can see they're already getting into the shade. It's not an ideal location.
Yeah. Well, it's got to be tough down here because it seems like you pretty much have a small window of light, especially in the winter, I'm sure.
Yeah, we don't see a lot of sky. We've never gotten too much into astronomy because we have a very small piece of sky. So here's a chunk of Paradise Garden. Probably at least 100 useful plants in here, edible, medicinal, and so on. Those big giant yellow ones are mullein, excellent for coughs.
Okay.
Yeah, fennel really good for digestion, and yarrow's good for wounds and so on. Echinacea everybody knows about.
So what are you doing? Are you selling these off your property? Because you're not consuming all of this, right?
No.
You and your team?
We sell seeds and plants.
Okay.
And then in the past, we have made lots of preparations, particularly tinctures, but we'd also have made salves and pills and liniments and many, many different things. I also taught herbal preparations for a while at a school in Asheville called Taoist Traditions.
The goji berry.
Yeah.
I thought that was a tropical berry.
No. No, it grows all the way up into North Dakota. It's become weedy in certain parts of America.
So what does somebody do, Joe, if they don't have your setup? You know, all of this sounds amazing. Everyone wants to be healthier. It's tough, though, if you're in a busy life. Like, how do you apply this to your life if you don't grow it all, or you just buy supplements?
No, you could do that, yeah, if you're interested. That's how I started. Like I said, I picked up this book sort of randomly called Chinese Tonic Herbs. Read about them, sounded great, so I just ordered some.
Okay.
To start trying them. And I'm like, yes, I want to grow this in my garden. So then that sent me on a long search to botanical, because most of them are not available in America.
Okay.
Looking for trading partners and Seed Savers Exchange and corresponding with botanical gardens in Korea and Japan. And that just led me. It's a nice thing if you're not trying to make money in your life, which I'm not. One of my goals is to earn as little money as possible without like feeling like I'm suffering or something, you know, not really denying myself anything. I got a little wasabi plant. It took me like 10 years to develop that as a sort of a crop. I never would have had the time or energy to put into that if I had a 9-to-5 job. I never could have done any of this if I had a 9-to-5 job.
So how do you make your money, if you don't mind me asking?
We sell seeds, we sell tinctures, we sell plants.
Okay.
Currently, a lot of my income comes from doing plant walks, educational stuff.
Okay.
Teaching.
So I'll leave that link at the bottom of the video. Are you trying to sell more seeds or no? Or?
Sure. I used to sell a lot of tinctures. The herb shop burned down.
Okay.
So we've now got a little sort of temporary shack down here where we're starting to make tinctures again. It was not a spectacular source of income, but it was pretty steady. Anytime I'd walk by, there'd be just a glass jar. It was all self-service.
Okay.
There'd be 20 or 30 bucks in there, you know.
Right.
Every time I walk by. So typically in the past, I had 6 to 8 apprentices. I always had more applications than I had housing.
Okay.
Now, for the first time, I got more housing than I have applicants. We get a certain amount of what are called woofers, you know that term?
Yeah, woofers.
Yeah,
I know that
just
organization.
come for a week or so.
Sure.
But what we really want is people that are going to come for the whole summer. And eventually I need to find people that want to just move here for the rest of their lives.
You want them to live on your property?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
well, I'm sure there's someone out there.
Income by taking over one or another aspect. You know, somebody could make a nice income just from the medicinal herbs. Somebody could make a nice income from developing herbal products. Somebody could make a nice income from the teaching, website development. And then the big income possibility is this herb school, which I was starting to set up at the end of the road. I got a half acre up there at the very end of the road, last bit of national forest, the trailhead for the steepest hiking trail in eastern North America. is right there on my property.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to start a herb slash permaculture slash ecology school. And that could provide enough income for the whole gang of people here. This is where I live, up there.
When did you build that?
About 35 years ago. I've been here 50 years, but that house is about 35 years old. So everything we're walking by has uses. Wild yam, and this lily is used in Chinese medicine. And the Apios americana is an edible endangered species. Wild lettuce has been used as an opium substitute, but it's really not very good.
Are you still learning
Oh, yeah.
in this world?
Oh, it's endless.
Okay, it's endless.
Absolutely endless.
Okay.
Yeah. Arrowhead, a nice wild edible. It's a water plant. Like as I said, I don't have water on this land, so I buy these kiddie pools when they get cheap at midsummer, and the stores want to clear them out.
What is this up here, Joe? This octagon?
That is a yurt.
Okay.
That's the newest building on the property, and over there on the other side of the deck was the oldest building on the property.
Okay, way over
also
there.
A yurt.
So this is where the people that come to help live?
Yep. Yeah, I've got 5 or 6 little shelters, and I have ambitions to build more, particularly out at the end of the road where I want this herb school to be. The idea is to have like 10 or a dozen little, very simple shelters for people who come for a week or a couple weeks, you know.
So is this more of you want to pass your knowledge on to those interested, or you feel like the world needs more of this movement and you want it to really blossom out?
Well, it's both. People need to live differently. The way we're living on Earth is destroying the planet. I think we all recognize that. It's just like in terms of changing to a more successful way of life, how far are you willing to go? You know, when I talk about this stuff, people's first thought is all the stuff they're going to have to give up. Whereas what I want to focus in is all the stuff you're going to get, all the positive stuff. You know this concept of forest bathing?
No.
Heard of that one? Very, very big in the Far East. In Japan, they got a word for falling dead at your desk. They can say that in one word. People are just so overworked. So people are being prescribed to do this thing called forest bathing, where you just go out in the woods and kind of meditate and open your senses, your ears, your nose, your eyes, and just absorb this natural energy. Well, you can put a helmet on somebody and measure their brain waves. And it's just a difference of night and day between somebody walking down a city street and somebody walking down a mountain path. And that's all very, very measurable. So the idea is to transfer my needs from civilization, which is my word for, what do you call it, the state or the economy, or just like the way everything works, with money being the blood of it, back to fulfilling my needs from a direct relationship with the planet, with Gaia.
Okay, so you built this by yourself or with anyone?
With friends. There were half a dozen people, sometimes more than that, on work days. The upstairs is clogged up with books. I've gotten a lot of donations, more than I have places to put them.
Taoism. You love Lao Tzu?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a whole bookcase of Taoism. Now I'm down to just one shelf.
Are these some of the supplements you take every day?
Yeah, these are tinctures I've made for various purposes. There are a lot more of them down in the little herb shop. That's a feng shui compass.
How does a feng shui compass work?
Oh, it is incredibly complicated. Each one of these little circles will give you a piece of information. There's about 32. It's a very interesting concept. The Chinese are now working on scientifically validating it. Mm-hmm. But it's been thought to be nonsense, you know, but it's very important to them. And you don't build a new building in China without consulting a feng shui expert about the location of it and which direction the doors should open, and like, is this a favorable spot? Originally, it was mostly for locating tombs. It's thought to be very, very important where you bury your ancestors. Like that's going to affect all of their descendants forever. So, yeah,
so you do all your cooking here?
Yeah. Well, we do a lot of cooking over there. I eat with the group typically.
Okay, great.
They cook on wood over there. Over here, I'm unfortunately stuck with propane, but